Well, Myles Kennedy is still trying to convince everybody that he knows how to play the guitar, and on this time in question, he played the greatest song ever written, in his words, Levon by Elton John, in an open E tuning. So today we are going to explore how he did that. I will link to the particular performance to which I am referring in the description, and I will also link to yesterday's video, which is Levon in standard tuning, where you will find how to get this very pink piece of paper so you can follow along with the chord progression, which will be helpful while we're doing this in this very confusing tuning. Okay, but first you need to know how to put your guitar into said open E tuning, so I'm going to do it right along with you here. You're in standard tuning. What we're going to do and what he did is put a capo on the 2nd fret to avoid breaking strings. We're going to tune our guitar into what would be open D if there was no capo, but since we've moved it up 2 frets, it's now open E. So, from standard tuning, your low E string will say F sharp with capo 2, right? We want to tune it down to E. Our A string will say B, and that's right where we want it, B. Our D string will say E, that's where we want that too. Our G string will now say A. I'm going to tune it down to the exact same E note that D string now is, so avoid breaking strings. Time out. Pro tip. When you break one string, it's time to change them all. I go on Amazon and I have 1 pack auto-delivered every month. You even get a discount, and then I always have fresh strings for when that happens. Okay, where were we? Tune that G string down to the very same E that the D string is. In truth, Myles Kennedy tuned his G string up to the B string, the B note that this B string is going to be, but now I'm doubly allergic to tuning up. It's not going to make any difference. We're just going to put our finger on the B string when he would the G string, and we're going to have 2 of this note instead of 2 of this note, but it's all going to be the same thing, so everybody relax. This G string is going down to that same E note that the D string is, and then the B string, we want to actually say B, but it's going to say C sharp, so tune it down to B. And the E string, we want to say E, it's going to say F sharp. Tune it down to E. So what we've got is not so much an open E tuning, but an open E power chord tuning. It's all E's and B's. Now I'll fix that up and we'll get going. He kicks it off just ringing away in open E, noodling about, and I would encourage you to do your own thing here, because they're really, your ears will know if it's a wrong note. Just put your finger down somewhere on any string. And do anything. Your ears will know if you play a wrong note, but take note of the spots where you really like it, because he didn't do anything really signature there. He was just kind of hanging out, doing stuff, but he did end with a, which was actual, not relative to the capo, fret 9, 11, 9, 7, and then into open E as the song begins. Or you could go 9, 11, 9, pull off, and then the E chord he uses is going to be the D string 4th fret relative to the capo, so you can land there, but your guitar open is an E chord, right? So it makes no difference whatsoever. All day. But yeah, that was his intro, so he didn't follow the EA thing, he was just jamming in E. But for the first line of the verse, he starts on the aforementioned E chord, which is D string 4th fret, everything else open. And then A is going to be E string 5th fret relative to the capo, and D string 5th fret relative to the capo. I'm going to call the strings what they used to be so we don't go crazy, right? Back to E. E. A. E. But when we go back to A, he does the A we had with middle and ring finger, and he grabs this leading tone on the B string 4th fret. Back to E. And you can, would be the sus4 equivalent there if you want. So, E. A. E. special A, back to E. Second line of the verse, we're using that same shape we had for A, not special A, but the first shape we had for A, and moving it up 2 frets. So actual 9th fret, it's getting far away from the capo, so it's harder to say relative to the capo, but it would be 7, hence a B, right? So it's B, up to C sharp 2 frets higher, and then we're gonna do G sharp, which is the 4th fret, relative to the capo, A, 5th fret, and then the F sharp minor chord he goes to is very ambiguous, but it totally works. It's going to be A string, 7th fret relative to the capo, actual 9th fret, and D string, 5th fret relative to the capo, actual 7th fret. And then he does the thing that he did before he goes into the verse again. So, B, C sharp minor, G sharp minor, 4th fret, A, 5th fret, and our special ambiguous F sharp minor. He does that again. There's a noodle in the second verse. The chords are the same, but it's going to be the, I'll show you and then I'll go through it. The D string 2nd fret, 4, 5, 4, 2, 4, 2, open. So, notice that's hammer on, pull off, pull off. Strum everything willy-nilly, because E's and B's are always okay to hear in the key of E. It's the root and the 5th of the key. So here we go. E, A, E. And then special A, E. But now when he goes to B, it's actually going to be 2nd fret of the D string. Just another way to play B in this tuning. Just don't strum the low string if you want to keep it simple and go to that B. It's okay. You can pretty much actually do anything at all that you think sounds good, because this song is solidly in the key of E and your guitar is solidly in the key of E, and you really just cannot go wrong if it doesn't sound wrong. But anyways, the B here for this second half of the second time through the verse is just 1 finger on the D string 2nd fret. Don't strum the low string. And then the C sharp is 2nd fret of the A string, and then he does the same. Going into the pre-chorus, he even grabs that chromatic riff that jabs you in the ribs, right? And so we're going to grab our shape here, right? Same fret on the E and the D strings, and it's going to be 2nd fret, 3rd fret into 4th fret for G sharp minor, so to speak. And then C sharp minor for this pre-chorus is the easy C sharp minor. And then A, just like we've been doing it, 5 and 5 on the E and the D string. G sharp, or really E with a G sharp in the bass, but this chord is both G sharp minor and E with a G sharp in the bass. It's not either of those, so perfect. Argument settled. F sharp minor, 2nd fret, E, or E with a G sharp in the bass, or G sharp minor, whatever. That shape on the 4th fret. Don't worry, I'll go through it after I yap away. And then to A, but special A. And then where it's E with a G sharp in the bass, this time you now have options, because you could always just play that. You can do this, or you can do what he does this particular time. Notice there's a lot of particular times where something very similar happens, and that's why I just encourage you to do whichever one you think sounds great. But it's going to be E string 4th fret, B string 2nd fret. Into this thing, ambiguous F sharp minor. But here we go, ready? So chromatic riff, 2, 3, 4, G sharp, easy C sharp, A on the 5th fret, E with a G sharp in the bass on the 4th fret, F sharp minor on the 2nd fret, back up for E, special A, super weird E now, and then ambiguous F sharp minor, and here's the only spot where it might not be worth not breaking your string by not tuning up. He plucks, and in this tuning we have to do it A, D, B, E, skipping the G string. That's a little tricky, but he just does it and gets the aforementioned notes, right? But this sounds great too. One more time. to the easy section of the video. The chorus is A, E, A, E, A, E, A, B, and he finally uses this open E power chord tuning the easy way. And it's just going to be 5th fret, kind of bar the 3 fat strings, and let those 3 ring out if you can. So A on the 5th fret, E is just look mono hands. Back to A on the 5th fret, and E. A, E. And now we're going to go A, B, so 5th fret, B on the 7th fret. And then it's the post-chorus intro between chorus and the next verse thing, and it's an E jam, so do absolutely anything that you want. But he glommed onto this thing that kind of happens in the string section in the actual song, which is an E7 chord, which we can now accomplish via the A string 3rd fret to open. So do absolutely whatever you want. Watch this. You can go open 2-4, hammer on every single string, and it'll be great. It's just for fun. Okay, so or anything you can possibly come up with that sounds good to you. He makes his way through the second trip through the song in much the same fashion, and in the last jam, he jams it out big again, you know, do your thing. He likes this thing, and he likes this thing. Does that a bunch and just kind of hangs on notes a lot. And then when he gets to this thing, he actually hangs on that 3rd fret longer. Starts to chill out, 2nd fret, and then a note that does not belong and is awesome, 1st fret, and then he grabs the 3rd fret of the E string, 2nd fret, and then reminds me of Seasons. Does it remind anyone else of Seasons? It does a lot. Anyways, Kurt, thanks for that. That was really fun. That was a good exploration in open E5 tuning, as it were, right? Power chord. But you can do that with any song at all in the key of E, or any song at all in the key of anything. You just change where your capo is, right? But for the chords of a key, it's always okay to hear the 1, the first note of the key, which is E, and the 5, the 5th note of the key, which is B. So for instance, here's all of our chords in the key of E. We're just going to do our shape on the, well, not at all first, for E, and then F sharp minor, 2nd fret, G sharp minor, 4th fret, A is the 5th fret, 7th fret is B, 9th fret relative to the capo is C sharp minor, and then the 7th chord of the key, which would be D sharp diminished, which we never ever play in standard tuning, right? But it works great in this tuning, 2 frets higher than that, and then we're going to end up 1/2 step higher than the 7th note of the scale, of course, back to the root E, and now you can turn any song in the key of E into this tuning. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. Those B's and E's always sound great because that's the job of the root and the 5 note from the scale. Thank you all so much for being here for this one. That was a lot of fun. And I broke a string. Yay.